How's it going, everyone? VenomousStare here, bringing you another Vibe replay. This time he's playing on the test map versus a Terran player named Firewoll. Now, if you don't know what the test map is, essentially Blizzard has proposed lots of huge changes for StarCraft 2. Oftentimes these changes will completely change the way matchups are played. For instance, one of the proposed changes is to make it where cyclones can be built with a reactor. Now, this might not sound like a big deal, but potentially Terrans could start favoring these two factory mech openings. Another proposed change is the ability for infestors to be burrowed and use their abilities while they're burrowed, even fungal. Another proposed change is the Protoss Dark Templar having a blink ability. So there are lots of crazy things going on in this test map. And the American hero from Colorado, Vibe, is going to show us what he can do. I've seen sometimes he'll elect to go Ling Infestor, which Ling Infestor is a style that received a lot of play in late 2012. The period of Vibe's career, I would say, where he had the most success, mid-2012. And Ling Infestor in this is powerful because your infestors can cast their spells while underground. So there's a huge deadly element of stealth that wasn't really present before in infestor-based styles. Certainly it was there to an extent. Like if you went to the trouble to upgrade Burrow, some people would burrow a few of them and send them into the main and natural and then use the infested Terran at the same time. Saw Idra do this, EVT on Cloud Kingdom. Destiny did this a ton. I mean, Destiny pretty much pioneered the fast infestor tech style, but then not only did Destiny pioneer that, he also pioneered how infestors were used as far as harassment goes. And Destiny showed that you can not only use infestors as a spellcaster to severely help your Ling-based army, but you can also burrow a couple of them, click them out of your control group, and just do devastating damage to someone who's not expecting it. Reactored Marine opening for Firewoll, and he will use these double Marines to deny scouting. If we look at Vibe's vision, can't see anything. He sees the expansion, of course, but Firewoll's doing an aggressive opening. 2 more barracks after the reactored barracks, and he's also building a factory. So in order to get these early double barracks, you sacrifice things. For instance, a command center or upgrades. In StarCraft 2, it's extremely important to remember that in the early game, your mineral assets are very sparse. So whenever you build 2 buildings this early on in the game, even after you've expanded, I mean, this is 300 minerals, right? That could have been 2 eBays and at 1-1 upgrade timing. So the fact that we see 3 early barracks and a factory here kind of indicates to me that Firewoll is going to be delaying his third, he's going to be delaying upgrades, and he's going to be doing a push. Vibe lays a creep tumor, which is very important on this map to get creep started down, because oftentimes you will be sieged over here. This is a very popular spot. Maru kind of showed in the Kespa Cup how obnoxious this could be. The point is you drop units down here, sometimes tanks, and then you can medevac onto the high ground, pressure, and then when you get into trouble, drop back down. The way you counter this as Zerg is creep spreading down through here, creep spreading up through here, and killing these rocks. Firewoll has started his wall at his natural. 1-1 is on the way for Vibe. 1-1 is a huge deal. Whenever you're fighting Terran ground pushes as Zerg, having 1-1 upgrades is absolutely essential with Zergling styles. And you might say, well, Wiley, upgrades are always important, but there are specific sets of upgrades in the game that are more important than some. +1 attack upgrades, Zealots versus Zerglings, 1-1 Zergling upgrades versus aggressive unupgraded pushes, and there are other examples. There are a ton of examples specifically in mirror matches like Carapace Armor and Zerg versus Zerg. Firewoll has elected to make medevacs as well as reactored cyclones and bio. He's a bit supply blocked here as these two depots are about to finish. But whenever you do timing pushes, it's very important you don't get supply blocked, because if you think about the build that Firewoll did, the most important time of this build, the most important time frame is like 4:30 to 6. It's so important that he crank out as many units as possible in that little minute and a half span and not get supply blocked. Because look at this, he gets supply blocked again. For like the last minute, pretty much, his production has been inhibited. And even though he's pushing out here, he has way less units than he should. His combat shield just started. He does have stem, but Vibe has 1-1. 1-1 destroys these pathetic little pushes. No combat shields, no upgrades. Vibe has a big army. He's flanking around. The rocks have been destroyed. This base is under attack, but it will be saved. Vibe surrounds the Cyclone, flanks Firewoll's army. Firewoll can pick up here, and he picks up 4 measly units. And we can see that Firewoll was intending to reinforce that push. He's going to pick up one of his units, but this is the power of the Ling upgrade advantage versus the aggressive push. And Vibe is in a great position. His third base is already finished. He's flooding drones. He started an infestation pit so he can tech quickly to Hive off the back of this Zergling base style. Meanwhile, Firewoll's third has just started. Vibe can saturate his extremely quickly. His fourth is almost completed. He has 3 creep queens, which is very useful on this map because oftentimes Terran players will favor multi-prong aggression, where they're always scanning to limit vision and aggressing. Sometimes they'll drop this base, they'll drop stuff up here and then a little down here. Meanwhile, they're parade pushing here, so creep is very important. Sometimes you'll see stuff drop back here and then some over here. There's lots of obnoxious little spots on this map where Terran can do very easy aggression, where if as long as they have a medevac, they can pressure you from a protected area, meanwhile pressuring you with another small little group of units. So Doom Drop coming in here for Firewoll. As you see, Vibe does have Hive on the way, so Firewoll really has to do something quick. He's trying to drop on the slow ground, but he's going Cyclone-based army, not tank. So Vibe, he doesn't want to lose his creep here, but at the same time, he's not really worried. 1-1's still not done for Firewoll, so he's just going to lose this fight if he takes it. He picks up and drops. The creep spread lost is immediately replaced. And the 4th base for Vibe is done. Huge income lead here for Vibe. He's going to clean up some of this army too. 2 of the what? 2 or 1 or none? Well, regardless, Vibe chases away the Cyclone Marine army. Firewoll, look at this. He's been trying to drop, trying to get back in the game. His 1-1 is just now completing. His mech attack upgrades have just started, and he's pumping double medevac as well as Hellion. But he really, really is in dire straits here. He does not have a 4th base. Vibe is taking a 6th out of gold, and most importantly, Vibe has already gotten a Hive. This is critical. He's also getting infestors that have already gotten the pathogen glands upgrade, so they'll pop with enough energy to fungal. He's also getting neural parasite, which can be used underground. Notice Vibe is also getting cracklings, the Zergling attack speed upgrade. This is an upgrade that is absurdly powerful in open engagements, fights that are had in the open battlefield, but more importantly, Zerglings combo very well with infestors, because Zerglings in the mid and late game are most prone to being kited. So whenever infestors can lock down an army, Zerglings absolutely clean it up, especially 2-2 versus 1-1 and crackling. If you don't understand how good this upgrade is, the attack, think about how fast Zerglings attack, which by the way, the faster something attacks, the more important an upgrade is. And he uses an attack speed increase, but hold that thought. Burrowed infestors here for Vibe. He's going to get big fungals on the way. 2 big fungals. Firewoll taking an absurd amount of damage. Scan going down. Vibe loses 2 infestors, but here come the Lings. Big fungal on the ramp here. The infestors are safe. They cannot be chased because fungal snares units, and the medevacs can't even pick up the units that are fungal. So Firewoll, he's now severely down in supply. His push got eviscerated. Queen's on the way, and Firewoll's probably going to just lose off the back of that, even though he has a nice little blue flame Hellion upgrade on the way with 3 factory pumping dutifully away and a third. Vibe just crushed that push, and since he was right at his front door, Firewoll just got stomped, and 2-2 with Crackling. Look at that. Firewoll can't even lift up because he's too busy microing. Vibe even burrowing here to be obnoxious. This is a great move. LOL, that fungal. Firewoll knows, and his blue flame's not complete. Vibe teching into Ultras, GG. And the game is called. So Vibe wins on the test map there. Make sure you subscribe to Vibe's stream and subscribe to my YouTube.